Well, Chinese President Xi Jinping unveiling a new central committee over the weekend and securing an unprecedented third term as the Communist Party's general secretary. Meanwhile, the Ohio Senate race is getting tighter. We've got Yahoo Finance contributor Kevin Cirilli on top of all of the big stories for us on this Monday. Kevin, let's start with what's happening over in China. What's been the reaction from the White House?
Well, look, I think policymakers in Washington, D.C., bipartisan policymakers are really incredibly growing skeptical of exactly what Xi Jinping intends to do in the years ahead. Now, the question is, the biggest question, of course, remains about what will Xi Jinping's actions be on Taiwan and how long will he wait should he want to invade the democratic island? Will he wait until the 100-year anniversary in 2049, or will he start to take aggressive action in the short term in the years ahead? And that's really the open-ended debate here in Washington, D.C., as well as what type of an approach he would take. Would he deploy tactics similarly to Hong Kong, or would he try to do a different route? But I was really incredibly struck by a bipartisan statement that came out from the leadership of the all-powerful Senate Foreign Relations Committee earlier this month, chaired, of course, by Robert Menendez, a Democrat from New Jersey, and Jim Risch, who is a Republican from Idaho, in which they said, quote, "A country truly committed to addressing the world's security challenges does not threaten war as Xi is doing to Taiwan. China is also providing metals and energy to prop up Russia's grotesque war in Ukraine. Xi securing a third term will only continue this path of repression, economic coercion, and regional instability." The finances coming out of Congress are also striking. They have doubled their military assistance over the next 5 years to $10 billion. The initial request earlier this month was about $5.5 billion. So not just rhetoric coming from Washington, but a financial backing as well.
Yeah, also got some interesting comments last week from the head of the U.S. Navy saying that he expects the timeline for some kind of invasion of Taiwan to take place in 2024. Let's shift gears to what we're watching here in the U.S. I counted 15 days until the midterms. You've been talking a lot about the Pennsylvania race, but the Ohio race, a new poll out showing things are neck and neck between Tim Ryan and J.D. Vance.
They're absolutely neck and neck. And China's actually playing in Ohio, where you've got Tim Ryan, a moderate Democrat, a centrist Democrat, former congressman, former presidential candidate too, mind you. And he's really going on offense against J.D. Vance. He's a MAGA-backed candidate. J.D. Vance has also received financing from, of course, Peter Thiel. And he has said to CNN's Jake Tapper just in primetime on Friday night that he is trying to position J.D. Vance as a China candidate who is investing in China while criticizing China on the campaign trail. So it's interesting to see geopolitics play in the populist streak of the heartland in American politics. But if you look at this Suffolk poll that just came out, it is neck and neck. J.D. Vance does have a slight edge, but still within the poll's margin of error, 47% to 45%, with 7% of voters still undecided or inclined to choose another candidate, plus or minus 4% in the margin of error. So Ohio typically has been leaning more conservative in both presidential and midterm cycles. So if Tim Ryan were to pull this off, it would be because of issues like the economy, in which he's making a more moderate type of Democratic pitch, in contrast to someone like a John Fetterman in Pennsylvania, as you know, who's made a more progressive economic pitch. So it'll be interesting to see what resonates with voters.
Even as we look ahead, we have to constantly look back because of the former president, Donald Trump. He's still got his legal issues, his organization's fraud trial, tax fraud trial, starting this week. What's the very latest that you're watching on that front?
Well, Liz Cheney, who is, of course, one of the leaders of the January 6th committee, and she spoke to Meet the Press in a very stoic, sobering interview yesterday, over the weekend, rather. And she said that it would be a quote unquote disaster for Trump for the Republican Party should Trump be the nominee in 2024. Now, why does this matter? Whether or not you think that Liz Cheney has any chance to become president in 2024 to be the standard bearer for the party, she has staked her claim for the Never Trump movement, and she becomes ultimately the de facto leader of the Never Trump crowd. The conservatives who felt left out of the MAGA brand of conservative politics. So that has data implications, it has fundraising implications, and it also has short-term implications in mid-November. Remember, the January 6th committee has subpoenaed former President Trump to hand over documents and to testify under oath before the committee. Whether or not Trump cooperates with that, we don't know. But she insists, Liz Cheney insists, that this will not be, her words, comparing it to the first presidential debate back in the last cycle between Biden and Trump. And that, she would hope that this would be an opportunity for the record, to set the record straight, but also to get some more information about what happened on January 6th.
Finally, Kevin, we were talking this morning that you always like to remind us you're from Philly. I'm surprised, you have a Yahoo Finance sign, not the Phillies sign. Now that they're headed to the World Series.
What? Don't tempt me, because look what I do have right next to me, my good luck charm. This is Ben Franklin. He is a famous Philadelphian. I mean, how great is it? I was talking to my mom and dad earlier this morning. I had a conference call with them. And
you had a conference call with your parents.
How great is it? After the gym, right? How great is it to be a Philadelphian, or to be, and I grew up right outside the city in Delco, but I mean, it's the greatest city. We invented America. The Birds are undefeated, and the Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series. I feel like a mummer on a Monday. I cannot put it into words. How excited! I mean, it's just, it's good news for the city of brotherly love, and we could all use some fun, and we could all use some good news. And I'm just, it's a great day. It's a great Monday. So I appreciate it.
It's a great story. I think
an amazing story.
I'm going to be rooting for the Phillies. I'm still heartbroken about my Dodgers, but I'm rooting for the Phillies because nobody wants the Astros to win again, right?
No, but let me tell you this. I couldn't go to the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl parade because there was a partial government shutdown and I had to cover it. So let me tell you, if I did go to the parade when the Phillies won the World Series the last time, and I love the parade. So maybe I'll get to go to a World Series parade, or like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade in New York City. I think that's how to have a good parade too.
All right, we're going to all be rooting on your behalf. Kevin, as always, good to talk to you.